Free is an energy advice programme sponsored by Calor, working with rural community councils and National Energy Action. In Cheshire, the programme is being delivered by Cheshire Community Action in partnership with NEA. The programme is aimed at communities which are off mains gas and is targeted at helping people in fuel poverty. Free brings practical, independent advice and information to residents and agencies that may come into contact with them. It helps individual households to focus on reducing their fuel consumption and fuel costs, and encourages local communities to work together to help each other implement energy efficiency measures and reduce carbon. In 2011-12, the government changed the definition of fuel poverty through an inquiry called the Hills Review. The new definition is still currently being consulted on. However, it is likely that to be defined as being in fuel poverty, you will have a lower than average income with a higher than average demand for energy. In essence, being in fuel poverty means that you cannot afford to maintain a healthy temperature in your home. Whatever the academic definition, the implications remain the same. Fuel poverty means that older people suffer from unnecessary illness. The incidence of heart attacks rises by up to 1/3 in the 2 days following a cold spell. It can mean children getting bullied at school because they cannot adequately bathe, and having their educational achievement hampered because there is nowhere warm to study. It can also mean families confined to the indignity of living in one room because they can't afford to heat the whole house. And of course, it can mean people falling further into debt, turning to doorstep lenders, and the cycle of struggle and deprivation that follows. The 3 main causes of fuel poverty are high fuel costs, low household incomes, and energy inefficient homes. A further problem is under-occupancy, typically where there is one person living in a large house. Fuel prices have risen significantly in recent years and are likely to continue rising. The lower a household's income, the higher proportion of that income has to be spent on essentials such as food and fuel. When homes are not adequately insulated, money is wasted as heat is lost from the structure of the home. The heating system may also be inefficient or not controlled in the most efficient way. There are 2 choices available to a household in fuel poverty: to heat the home or not to heat the home. If a home is not heated, the occupants may suffer from cold-related illnesses, and the home may suffer from condensation problems. Condensation and underheating can cause disrepair in the home, and mould growth caused by condensation can also lead to health problems. If a household in fuel poverty chooses to heat their home because they have children or need warmth for medical reasons, the most likely consequence is that they will fall into debt with their fuel supplier. The price of fuel has a direct impact on people's ability to stay warm. October-November 2012 saw a round of price increases by most of the major suppliers. Based on the suppliers' market share and DTI's Ready Reckoner, NEA estimates that using the previous fuel poverty definition, these price rises mean over 250,000 additional households will struggle to keep warm this winter. The cost of gas and electricity is projected to continue rising. That is why it is particularly important to understand how to use this energy in the most efficient way. Those living in rural areas are more likely to experience fuel poverty than those living in urban areas. Part of the reason for this is the higher proportion of homes which are not on the mains gas network and rely on oil or LPG, which are generally more expensive. While organisations such as NEA lobby for changes in regulation and policy to protect the most vulnerable from price increases, there is also a recognition that for those struggling to keep warm, short-term, tangible improvements to their home must also be made, hence the importance of energy efficiency. The level of fuel poverty was relatively low in 2000, the year that government introduced the National Warm Front scheme, providing assistance with insulation and heating for low-income households. However, here we see the figures rising again since their lowest point in 2004. This is due almost certainly to the increase in domestic fuel prices. This table shows the regional breakdown of fuel-poor households in England. The figures are based on projections calculated by the Centre for Sustainable Energy. The North West has the third highest proportion of fuel-poor households, with over 1 in 4 households struggling to keep warm. It has been proven that indoor temperatures can affect the health of occupants. As indoor temperatures fall, there are risks, in particular to older people, of respiratory and cardiovascular disorders. If indoor temperatures are around 18 to 24 degrees centigrade, there is no risk to sedentary, healthy people. At temperatures below 16 degrees centigrade, there is an increasing risk of respiratory disorders, and below 12 degrees there is a strain on the cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of strokes and heart attacks. And below 9 degrees for 2 or more hours, there is a risk of hypothermia as the body's core temperature drops. Lower indoor temperatures can also affect mobility, leaving older people more prone to falls. Staff and volunteers of some organisations and community groups are in an ideal position to be able to recognise when a household may be struggling or at risk and refer them to an appropriate source of help. This is especially true of those who visit people in their own homes. There are a number of signs which may indicate that a household needs help. If you are speaking with someone or visiting them in their home, there are clues in what you might see, hear or feel. You may hear people complaining that their home is cold or drafty. They may mention that their bills are high or that they are worried about being able to pay them. They may be using a prepayment meter to avoid debt. They may tell you that they stay in one room to keep warm or even stay in bed. Or you may hear that a family member is persistently coughing or sneezing. You may see excessive condensation on the windows of the property, a common sign of an underheated house. You may also find that people keep their curtains closed to help keep warm. Mould growth on walls or curtains is also a sign of a cold home. If someone is living in one room or not using their central heating, this might be noticeable by the prominent position of a portable heater. You might also notice a lack of heating controls such as a room thermostat or thermostatic radiator valves, or that they have been switched off. Dust on heating elements is also an indication that they have not been used. You may feel the cold or notice that only one room is kept warm. The property may also be drafty, or you may be able to smell the mould, which is associated with condensation. Now we have looked at the problems associated with fuel poverty and how to recognise the signs. What are the solutions? The solutions to fuel poverty fall into three categories: making the house as energy efficient as possible, maximising income, and lowering the cost of fuel. Making homes energy efficient cuts down fuel bills. Draft proofing will reduce uncomfortable drafts and can be a very low cost DIY solution. Insulation should be the next thing to consider. There are grants and loans available, generally for loft insulation and cavity wall insulation. If the house was built after the 1920s, it is likely to have cavity walls. Harder to treat properties may need more expensive forms of insulation for solid walls. Loft insulation should be 270 mm deep, about 9 inches. Many homes do not have this depth. This could be due to something as simple as needing help to move boxes from the loft so that it can be installed. Efficient heating systems will help to keep the cost of fuel down, but any heating system will only bring benefits if controlled well. Thermostatic radiator valves, TRVs, and a programmable room thermostat should be part of the controls package. Crucially, the user or a friend, relative or carer should understand how to set these so they fit with the occupant's lifestyle. Renewable energy may also be appropriate for some homes, especially if they are not on the mains gas network. For example, solar hot water heating or air and ground source heat pumps. This is a specialised field, however, and advice from a well-established and independent source is crucial. Alongside reducing energy costs, maximising household income is also part of the solution. Millions of pounds worth of benefits go unclaimed, particularly pension credits. Benefit checks not only bring more money into homes, they may also make the householder eligible for discounts on fuel and for grants for energy efficiency or new heating systems. Winter fuel payments are paid to households over 60 years of age and are not means tested. In particularly cold weather, households on particularly low incomes may additionally receive cold weather payments. The warm home discount will be automatically paid to vulnerable older people who receive pension credit guarantee. Other people who are particularly vulnerable to the cold, such as people with disabilities and very young families, may also be eligible to claim for the broader group portion of the warm home discount. There are also ways we can lower the cost of fuel. The main options are to make sure consumers are on the best gas and electricity tariff and to ensure we are paying for fuel in the most competitive way. Households can save money by switching supplier, particularly if they have never switched before. There are a number of price comparison websites and free phone switching telephone numbers available to help you do this. Look out for the Consumer Focus Confidence Code to make sure you are using a reputable organisation. If households are off gas and using oil or bottled LPG, there may be an opportunity to lower the cost of their fuel if they order and get it delivered at the same time as other people in the local area. Online fuel buying syndicates can also help to reduce the cost. If someone is struggling to pay their bill, they should be encouraged to contact their supplier as soon as possible. In addition, the Home Heat Helpline is a service to help customers who may be in debt or struggling to pay bills. Using heating and appliances efficiently can also save money. Turning down a central heating room thermostat by 1 degree can cut a heating bill by up to 10%. However, people should not be encouraged to use their heating less than is necessary to maintain a healthy home. Older people are particularly likely to use their heating sparsely, so this message should be tempered for that age group. Money can also be saved by turning electrical appliances off when they are not being used. Many new appliances have energy rating labels on them which provide information on the running costs of the appliance so that comparisons can be made. Anyone struggling to pay their fuel bills should be encouraged to first contact their supplier, as they can help with managing energy bills, debt repayment, and importantly, avoiding disconnection. There are also a number of schemes and agencies providing support and advice to households in need. One of these is the Home Heat Helpline, which can be contacted free of charge on 0800 33 66 99. The Citizens Advice Bureau and local money advice trusts can also help with budgeting, money management and fuel debt advice. The following slides highlight to you other agencies that can help with advice, grants and energy efficiency measures. Listen carefully. Home Heat Helpline. This free phone helpline gives information and advice on tariffs, energy efficiency and managing the payment of your bill. The telephone number is 0800 33 66 99. Warmfront. This government-funded scheme will run until 2013. It provides heating and insulation improvements to households on certain income-related benefits living in properties that are poorly insulated and or do not have a working central heating system. The telephone number is 0800 316 2815 or 0300 123 1234. The Energy Saving Trust gives free, impartial information and advice about energy efficiency and grants and schemes available for implementing energy efficiency measures. 0300 123 1234. The Pension Service offers a free benefit advice to older households. Their telephone number is 0800 99 1234. The Warm Home Discount Scheme. In 2012-13, this will make an automatic payment of £130 for low-income, older households. These are known as the core group. In addition, eligibility for a broader group will be decided with suppliers and the regulator Ofgem. Criteria are advertised on suppliers' websites or through the Home Heat Helpline. On successfully applying for the broader group assistance, households will receive a rebate of £130. For more information, call 0845 603 9439. The winter fuel payment. This offers £200 for a household with someone who has reached women's state pension age but is under 80. Households with someone aged 80 or over on the 23rd of September 2012 will receive £300. For more information, call 0845 9151 515. Some local authorities also offer a range of advice and support, including help and assistance in making your home more energy efficient, housing benefit and handy person schemes. Your local Age UK will offer advice on benefits, heating and grants for those over 50. And your local Citizens Advice Bureau will offer advice on benefits, grant and debt solutions. Cheshire Community Action have a representative who is available pan-Cheshire for attending drop-ins and events, and in Tatton Hall only for one-to-one advice and home visits. To arrange this, please contact the office on 01606 350 042. Also, those living in Tatton Hall and Malpas areas of Cheshire can contact the village agent, who is based locally and is a one-stop shop for information, advice and services including energy efficiency, pensions and benefits, transport or any issue, problem or question, no matter how small. For more information on this, contact Carol Weaver on 07825 291 958. From January 2013, the government's new energy efficiency schemes will be introduced. These are called the Green Deal and the Energy Company Obligation, also known as ECO. The Green Deal pay-as-you-save model is targeted at households who are not in fuel poverty. Under this scheme, households can get energy efficiency improvements funded by a third party. The costs are then recovered through a charge on their electricity bill. The charge will be less than the predicted saving that your measures will bring. When you leave your home, the charge will remain on your bill and not with you. The Energy Company Obligation, or ECO, is being introduced to help low-income households. A grant will be available for heating and insulation. Eligibility criteria linked to age and benefit entitlement will apply. ECO will also provide subsidies for solid wall households and will incorporate a target for assisting rural households. More information can be found on the Department of Energy and Climate Change website or by contacting Cheshire Community Action on 01606 350 042. If you would like any more information about the free programme in Cheshire or on how to bring better affordable warmth to Cheshire, please contact Carol Weaver on 07825 291 958 or John Hesselwood on 01606 350 042. Please share this information as widely as possible. You could really make a difference.